How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie X Junior Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guys, Mr. Mike Zappy, Brett Bandick, Idris Salam. And tonight, the name of the show is 9 Up, 9 Down. Who will remain undefeated and who will have a frown? Continue to have a frown because we have some teams that are looking to get off the schneid. We have some teams that are looking to stay undefeated, and some of them are clashing. And we have one particular game where two undefeated teams are going head to head. That's going down in Tampa. Without further ado, I do want to make a mention that I'm going to give a thought to bring us in. And I'm going to let these three guys have a thought to bring us in about the coming week, and then we're going to get at it. My thought of the week going in, it took 6 quarters. Allegedly, Brian Dable took over the play calling. He hasn't exactly claimed that he did. But after 6 quarters of no scoring, the sleeping Giants have awoken. Mike Zappy, you're up.
My thought of the week is it's a two-part. First one, I'm just going to get out of the way. Go Notre Dame, Ohio State. It's our time. Although we got to stop Marvin Harrison. But my actual thought of the week when it comes to the NFL is these quarterbacks that have been paid, which one is going to finally show up and show that he deserved that contract? Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, none of them have been playing up to par, and they definitely have not been playing to those large contracts they received.
All right. I like it, Zap. I like it. Brett Bandick, you're up.
Yeah, same thing. I got 2 thoughts here. Well, the first one's not really a thought. Patriots, Jets.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to give you a Tom Hanks quote. We're going to win. We're going to win this week, boys. We're going to win against the Jets. You know, our first 2 losses came against teams that are currently undefeated. Our last loss, I like what Belichick did, you know, with the whole, 3 deep safety thing, you know, trying to take Tyreek Hill and Waddle out of the game. They did really well against that, but that also opened up the run up the middle for Mozart, and he absolutely killed us. That was literally the defining factor of the game. But I definitely like that 3 deep safety montage that Belichick put on. This week, we won't have to do that. We play one man under, one man, above, Garrett Wilson, and we blitz the shit out of Zach Wilson. We're going to have a good day. We just got to contain that run game. But I like our chances this week. We're not going to let it come down to a, final decision coming from, the black and white crew. It's not going to come down to that this week. I think we're going to put them away good. 30-20 final score. My second thought is Baker Mayfield for real. Has he found a home in Tampa? I like what I see out of Baker Mayfield. I like what I'm seeing. Mike Evans is, stepped up his game. He's putting on 2 weeks back to back. He's put on over 100-yard performance. He's going to have another 1,000-yard year, which is his goal. But I mean, Tampa looks good, boys. They got a good defense. They're playing against Philly on the Monday night game, one of the games of the week. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup.
I like it, Brett. I like it. Idris, you are up, my man.
Everything Brett that said, Cam Akers to the Vikings. That's going to cut out Kirk Cousins going to the Jets. I think the Vikings are still a good team. The defense, I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out for about 2 years now.
Yeah, Justin Fields is who I thought he was. Same thing with Ohio State quarterbacks. He had a little press conference today. He didn't throw the coaches under the bus, but basically he said, I'm going to do it my way. He has the longest losing streak of any Chicago quarterback since 1967. He has the worst losing streak of a first-round draft choice quarterback in I don't know how many years in the Super Bowl era. He's who we thought he was. I never thought he was that great. It's an Ohio State product, and I always say the same about Ohio State quarterbacks.
One time, Idris, for me and Zappy, just one time. Say go Irish.
Nah. Ohio State's gonna
Nah.
Ohio State's gonna whoop him. I can't do it, dude. Ohio State's gonna whoop him. I don't like Notre Dame.
Hey, but the one positive though about Chicago is they're almost positioning themselves to go after Drake May or Caleb Williams. So hey,
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That is a good point, Zappy. I don't think it was their intention to come out 0-2 out of the gates by any means.
Yeah. Move on.
No.
He has what he needs. And now they're talking about moving the right tackle, who's a rookie, over to the left side. Because they're putting their left tackle on IR. Okay.
Well, I mean, we could relate to some offensive line adjustments, let's say.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to start it up in Santa Clara. New York Giants 1-1. Heading out to the San Francisco 49ers, undefeated 2-0. Giants are coming off a huge win at the Cardinals after trailing 20-0 and not scoring a point for the first 6 quarters of the season. Running back Saquon Barkley, offensive tackle Andrew Thomas will both be inactive. For the 49ers, wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, more than likely a game-time decision. I'm just kind of curious to see how the Giants make the necessary adjustments in terms of who are we going to see this week, fellas? Is it going to be the guys that didn't score a point for 6 consecutive quarters? Or is it going to be the guys that blew out the Cardinals 31-8 in the second half and looked like basically, okay, it's our season now. Let's wake up. Let's do this. I think that's actually the true question at hand.
Well, the 49ers are the 49ers. So I think what are we going to do to stop them? We're going to have to use Breida. We're going to have to use our tight ends. Everything we have, Andrew Thomas is, Evan Neal hasn't shown any progress.
I must say this, though. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, Mark Glowinski, after coming off the bench, actually performed at a pretty high level, given how crappy he was going back to the latter part of last season. Game 1 against Dallas, where he really looked terrible.
We're a slow starting team, and we can't
and it's aggravating. Yeah. I remember the conversation roughly a year ago on our way to Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Me, you, and Gary in the car talking about what the hell is Dable telling these guys at halftime. We want to see win or lose. I want to see a Giant team compete for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
What I do like about the weirdness of not having your main running back, who's such a focal point of your offense, is that I think that it allows you to hit them with something that you might not necessarily be expecting. But in terms of the X's and O's, in order for the Giants to be in this game, you have to spread the field.
Have to.
Because you're not going to win at the point of attack if you're going I form or if you're going like power for power. But the Giants do have the speed that can spread out the 49ers. And Daniel Jones looked rather good in that empty set, even lining up the running back as a receiver. So I believe that this is necessary for the Giants to have their best chance. I'll give you my prediction after we go round robin. Mr. Zappy, you're up.
Shout out Casual Coco. What up?
Look, it's quite simple, guys. The Giants gave up 7 sacks week 1, 3 sacks last week. You don't have Andrew Thomas tomorrow. Evan Neal has not been playing up to par, and now you're facing that hellish, crazy defense and the pass rush of Nick Bosa. Not to mention, 49ers have been one of the best teams in the NFL over the last couple of years at shutting down opposing teams' tight ends. This year, they've only allowed 6 receptions for 34 yards. When you take away your best player in Saquon Barkley, that limits your offense. We didn't really see much of that last week because Saquon went out really the last drive of the game. So it's going to be you need to have the running game. You cannot put it all on Daniel Jones. If you come out with a game plan that to have Daniel Jones throw for 35 to 45 times, you guys are going to lose this game. You're going to lose it bad.
Yep.
Secondly, how are you guys going to slow down CMC? How are you going to slow down CMC? Because so far, no one has been able to do it. And quite frankly, I think he is the lead vote getter for Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. How are you going to slow him down? And secondly, the other thing is, how do the 49ers respond if they do not have Brandon Ayuk in their lineup? We know what Deebo Samuel is, but who is the other guy that can step into Ayuk's place if he does not play tomorrow? I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I think, if anything, what we might see is an early game and where we're going to see more numbers from an Elijah Mitchell in the second half. I don't think the Giants pose much of a threat. No offense, guys. This 49er team, we all know, is hands down one of the two best teams in the NFL. And their defense is right up there. I mean, they're the second-ranked defense in the NFL right now. So I just don't think things don't look great, but you have to play perfect football tomorrow night at Levi Stadium.
Your final score is at
30-13, San Francisco.
Brett, you are up.
Yeah, I like all the takes, boys. Everybody's leaving out a really important name. A name that has carried the Niners, for the past 10 games. His name is Brock Purdy. All right. This man, and Idris, I give you credit, man. You called it, Mr. Irrelevant. The man is currently 9-1, and the one loss is because he got hurt and he left the game in the first quarter. He didn't even play.
He didn't really play. Right.
So he got credit with that loss. His first 10 games, boys, he's 9-1. Granted, he has a top 10 defense in the league, top 5 defense in the league. You got, CMC. I just, without the Giants missing, the number one back, and he was a spark plug to start that comeback last week against the Cards, and now you're missing him. Ugh, I don't like your chances, man. I don't, and they're going on the road in a short week, against a team that is currently 2-0 and looking really sharp. It's going to be a tough go for you, man. I kind of agree with Zappy on the score a little bit here. I'm going to go a little higher and say 37-13. I can see you competing maybe for the first quarter, but after that, and like Zappy said, if DJ has to throw the ball 30-35 times a game, you're not going to be successful with that defense coming at you. So I got San Fran winning this big.
Idris, you are up.
Basically what Zappy and Brett said, we got a hill to climb. We can't get behind like we did against the Cardinals. If so, it's going to look like game 1 when Dallas basically gang raped us, if you want to call it that.
They unleashed the defense in the second half.
Yeah. We can't get behind. If we get behind, it's going to look almost like
second half, more like the second fucking series. Sorry,
second series.
If
we get behind them, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like the Dallas game. It'll look just like that. We'll just be playing catch up. We might put some points on the board, but it'll be over by halftime. I give us a puncher's chance because you never know what happens, and we tend to play San Francisco well, regardless of what's going on. But in reality, I say 30-20 Frisco, because I don't want to make a homer bet, but I'm gonna say 30-20 Frisco, but I still got confidence in my squad that we can. We can pull off that upset, but 30-20 Frisco.
I'm actually calling for the same 10-point spread, 27-17 49ers. Let's not forget, though, guys, a rookie wide receiver incinerated that 49ers secondary just a week ago. And I don't think not having Brandon Ayuk necessarily means that it's like, oh, we don't need him this week. I think that's a little more to that giant comeback, and I don't think it's just the caliber of the opponent they beat. But I do believe we'll compete. I do think that the absence of Saquon will bite us when it's needed most. And we're going to compete. We're going to lose by 10. We're going to pick our face up off the floor, get Saquon back for that Monday night game, and look to go into the month of October with a 2-2 record. 49ers for the win, unfortunately, and I really hope I'm wrong. Indianapolis Colts will be visiting the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are coming off a huge road victory in Cincy. As you all know, Anthony Richardson, AR-15, is still in concussion protocol. That means Gardner Minshew steps up to the plate. Short and sweet. I think Minshew still gives them a chance to compete. And I also believe that this Colts team's a little better than forecasted coming into the season, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. What I admire about what they've done in the early going is they're competing without their all-pro running back, Jonathan Taylor. And I don't think too many people gave them a shot to win more than 3 or 4 games this year. I still got Baltimore winning, but I think they're going to have to fight this one out. I don't think it's going to be easy. I got Baltimore winning it 24-17. I think it's going to be close.
I'm going to flip it the other way around. I think Indy's going to pull off the upset. Just imagine what Indy would be with Jonathan Taylor. They may be 2-0. They may be 2-0.
I'm so afraid to pick them half the time after last year. Me and Zappy were so high on that team.
I think they've come close each time, but I think they'll upset. Because Baltimore hasn't looked particularly great.
I tend to agree.
Right, but they haven't looked great.
I agree.
And I think Indy's going to pull off an upset. I'm going to go 23-20.
All right. Zach, what are your thoughts here?
A couple of things. One, the Colts, if there's one thing they're good at this year, is they're number 7 in rushing defense. They've been able to slow teams down. That's important,
especially against that team.
Right.
It is, but the teams they've played was Jacksonville, and Jacksonville didn't really use the run week 1, and of course they played Houston last week. If this team does not have AR, I find it harder for them to pull off that upset because while Gardner Minshew is a proven veteran, I think AR's ability to utilize his legs is what separates him and would present problems for this Ravens defense. Offensively for the Ravens, I mean, we're missing some key players here, and obviously we know J.K. Dobbins is out. Justice Hill might not be playing either.
And Odell Beckham Jr. is banged up. Even if he plays, he is banged up with the ankle.
It's because he messed up and decided to get with a Kardashian.
Exactly.
No, they usually mess up the brain, not the ankle. But that's another conversation.
But no, it's just the Ravens defensively have looked good. Their run game has, considering what they've gone through already, another season of Ravens running backs getting hurt, they haven't looked bad. It's been Lamar Jackson in the passing game. It has not been there. OBJ has not done anything but caught a couple passes. Rashad Bateman looks good. Zay Flowers looks amazing. I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. But ultimately, it's the Colts' pass defense that worries me. And for some reason, I just feel like this is going to be the game where Lamar Jackson comes out and throws for 315 and 3 touchdowns. Give me the Ravens 27-17.
Brett, you're up, dude.
Where's this game being played at?
Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore. Okay.
The original home of the Colts. The original home of the Colts.
The original home. Yes. A lot of history there. Richie, you said it. Minshew mustache is he's a proven veteran. Zach Moss really stepped up his game last week. I don't know how I feel about him yet. I don't know. I think it's because it's home for Baltimore. It's still early in the season. The way Zay Flowers is playing, man. I mean, he's playing lights out right now, man. Lights out. And what Zappy alluded to is that Indy secondary. I think Baltimore's going to blow him up. I think Andrews is going to have a much better week this week. Zay Flowers is going to continue to do what he's doing, and I think Bateman even might throw in a little 70-yard scamper there for a touchdown. I got Baltimore winning this thing. 27-20, tight game. but I think late in the fourth quarter, I think Baltimore is going to come up with those third down conversions and go to Mark Andrews like he's supposed to. But no, it's too close to call. I mean, they're both, like I said, it's both early in the season. But I'm still going to take Baltimore in this one. With a much more athletic quarterback that needs to prove himself. So Baltimore all day.
I like all the takes. All the takes, very logical here. This is a game that if they were both at full strength, I feel that it's a mirror image matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, Nick Chubb has a potentially career-threatening injury, which was horrible to see on Monday Night Football. We got the Tennessee Titans traveling to Cleveland, the dog pound. Browns lost a tough, emotional game in Pittsburgh. More importantly, as I just said, Nick Chubb gone for the season, and his career is in jeopardy. Make no mistake about it. Team signed his former backmate, Kareem Hunt, who will be active for this game. Titans are coming off huge victory over the Chargers. Running back Derrick Henry, in my opinion, is still fighting to continue to shut up the naysayers that he is still the premier back in the league, or one of them, one who should the traditional premier back, because CMC is the ultimate back. But let's make the differentiation. I like the road team here, guys, for a couple of reasons. Deshaun Watson has not impressed me through the first 2 weeks of this season. I feel that he is still very much struggling to completely get up to the speed of the games. Now, granted, Pittsburgh came out very strong, was winning at the point of attack, and made life miserable for Watson in crunch time last week. But even if you go back to week 1, I think that they benefited from playing partially handicapped Joe Burrow. That Cleveland defense is championship caliber. I will say that. I think you're looking at a very low-scoring game here. It might be a lot of punts, a lot of field goals, and a lot of getting tight inside the 20s. But in the end, I like the road team here for the victory, 20-17. I like the Titans on the road. I think as the season progresses, the combination of Ford and Hunt is going to try to duplicate what Chubb and Hunt did. You cannot replace a Nick Chubb, but you can try to emulate and be functional. I think the Cleveland Browns will emulate, be functional, but this week they're going to take a tough loss.
I agree. I'm going to go 24-17 Tennessee. Cleveland has a good defense, no doubt about it. They're going to have to stop Derrick Henry. I'm still not sold on Deshaun Watson. He's a guy, but he looks nothing like he looked like in Houston. Kareem Hunt has to get back into groove, and I know he knows the offense. But
yeah, that's an advantage of dressing him. He already knows the offense.
Yeah, he'll have to get back to being in football, because he's been out. It's a whole
for sure
game when you work out all day, off the field, but you still have to get into game shape, get used to the speed and everything else. So this is more like an exhibition game to him. Mm-hmm. So I think he'll do well, but he doesn't run with the punishing power.
No,
Nick Chubb does, and I think that's going to be one of the problems they'll have.
Yeah, you can't replace a guy like that. His productivity, his consistency is just a terrible thing to see. Really sad.
Yeah, I'm going 24-17 Tennessee, and I think that 17 will be something late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Brett, you're up.
Yeah, fellas, look, we talked about this in the AFC North preview on what would happen. With Cleveland getting rid of Kareem Hunt and, not signing him.
Yep.
And what the repercussions would be. And so look what happened. I don't wish any hurt on anybody in the league. That was a tough scene to watch. But I just, Idris, what you said, I'm not a believer in Deshaun Watson. Him being off for almost 2 years. Yeah, you lose the feel. You know what I mean? Like you just can't.
Oh yeah, that's a lot to overcome.
You can't get it back. And now you lost one of the best running backs in the league. Granted, their defense is going to keep them in games regardless. Their defense is going to keep them in games. But I like the way Tennessee is playing right now. They stick to old school football. They stick to Tennessee Titan, Mike Vrabel football. they are going to win this game easily. I think D-Hop is going to get a touchdown in this. He's going against an old teammate in Deshaun Watson. I'll take Tennessee on the road with this. I just think they have a better wide receiving core, and they have King Henry. It's just, I think it'll be a 10-point deficit, 10-point reach, but I think Cleveland is going to score some garbage points at the end just to make it look interesting. But I'm going to say 27-17 Tennessee.
Zappy, clean sweep.
Give me Tajay Spears to be the X factor for the Tennessee Titans. This Browns team is going to load the box to make sure they slow down Derrick Henry. We look at Myles Garrett. This is the first time he is playing with somebody that has double-digit sacks in his career, or at least per season, in Zadarius Smith. I think they're going to do a lot to stop Henry and slow the pass game down. That's why I think Tajay Spears is going to be big on third downs. DeAndre Hopkins gets his first touchdown of the year. I'm expecting a low-scoring type of affair, 19-16 type of game. Actually, 19-17.
Okay.
Tennessee game-winning field goal.
Nice.
Oh, with the expatriate Nick Folk, huh?
There you go.
Game winner.
I like it. I'm going to post the less notables. Fellas, use your eyes here. Give it a minute for the viewers. Let them see what it is. Got some final scores here for what I deem to be the less notables, less interesting. But if something pops out at you that you want to speak on, by all means. And I want to let the Dallas Cowboys faithful know I am not putting them on this because of the fact that they're not a hell of a team. It's because of the caliber of opponent. Because I myself was very humbled through the first 6 quarters of my team season, and to see us put up 31 in the second half, I'm not going to take nothing away from what the Giants did. But I am confident in saying that the Dallas Cowboys are a little closer and further ahead than we are. So, and not to mention the defensive aspect of it. So I'm kind of worried about how bad it's going to be. They might be looking for a mercy rule. Go ahead, Idris.
I got Houston knocking off Jacksonville.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sold on Jacksonville, man. I'm just not. Just like I wasn't sold on the Chargers winning these first 2 games, I'm not sold on Jacksonville.
We need to go back to those Bob Uecker seats and let them know what it is.
Yeah, too many. I know. They just make too many mistakes, man. Just like this past week against Kansas City, should have knocked Kansas City out the box.
Well, I'll be honest. Even going back to last year, if you look at how sloppy they were in the first half of that Charger game, or even in the final game of the regular season, where Zappy, myself, and I believe you as well, all picked the Titans to win that division.
Yep, Brett was the only one that picked Jags.
I'm not sold on Jags. I'm not. I think the score will flip, but I think Jacksonville will score. I think 24-17. I just don't have confidence in them, man.
For the most part, outside of that, do you think I got these winners right here?
Yeah.
No, you're doing. Yeah, no, you got them down pretty good.
It's quite simple for Dallas. They're the number 1 defense in the NFL, number 1 in scoring, number 1 in sacks, number 1 in turnovers, number 1 in hearts broken. I mean, you name it. Right now, Dallas's defense is storming, and the question right now is who's going to be the first team to score on them. I don't think it's Arizona. I actually have Dallas winning 34-9.
It might be 40.
It might be very well.
Hang on 1 second. When you say the first team to score on them, what are you referring to exactly? Garrett Wilson did have that breakaway.
Garrett Wilson did it this past week. Yeah.
He did. I want when I say score on them, a legit drive.
You're talking about a drive, not just one breakaway. Okay, that's fair, Zappy.
It was a great play by Garrett Wilson. I won't take anything away from that.
That's fair. No, honestly, that's a fair point.
What that did for Dan Quinn is it made him bring one safety back because he was loading up the box. And Dan Quinn got beat that play. No, I want to see an established drive. I want to see a 15-play drive, 75 yards, James Conner running in for 6. That's what I want to see. I want to see a drive like that.
We hung 31 on. Okay, get that.
Other than that, no, that's what sums it up for Dallas right now. It's a matter of who's actually going to be able to punch this defense, and I just don't see Arizona being that team. I think everyone has October 8th circled when Dallas travels to San Francisco.
We hung 31 on Arizona. We don't have the offense Dallas had. We definitely don't have
No.
defense. And we hung it on them in the second half. So it wouldn't surprise me if Dallas put 45. They may not.
Yeah,
They
but
might call up the dogs about 35. Like, we got this one.
yeah, this is one of those games where Dak is not going to have to do hardly much of anything.
Just manage the
He
game.
You know, he's just going to have to be a clock manager, hand the ball off. You know, short yardage situations. You know, he's not going to have to do that much, which is what he's been doing the past 2 weeks because
it could be a weird one where he has like 204 touchdowns.
Just taking over the game. You know, he really hasn't had to do that much.
He might be in front of their end zone. You know what I'm saying? Like starting drives inside their own 30.
He may
That's a good point. This is the game where he's going to throw for 225 to 245 with 4 TDs. That's a good point.
Right at the doorstep.
He may not have to do that much. He might throw for 2 touchdowns, like 200, and Pollard might get a couple.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I just don't see the point for them to have their starters pass the third quarter. And I could be wrong. You know, it's any given Sunday. Any team can show up. We saw it last year with Houston when they went to Dallas.
Smart money.
Yeah. And Arizona has played Dallas great in the past, but one big thing, they don't have Kyler Murray in this game. So
it's kind of like Brett's bachelor party. You know, you don't necessarily have to plan this out. Just show up and you will score. Yeah. All right, New Orleans Saints going to Lambeau.
That's true.
Packers stars David Bakhtiari, Aaron Jones, and Christian Watson all are questionable. I think 2 of the 3 will play.
Yeah.
Saints are currently riding a 2-game win streak after close victories over both the Panthers and the Titans. So New Orleans 2-0. I'm not blown away with their 2-0 record or the manner that they've won in. I do like certain aspects to their defense of what they're doing. Decent job stopping the run. Derek Carr, may I say he may have improved some. I do believe that he's finding quite the rapport with not only Michael Thomas, but also the kid, Chris Olave. Derek Carr is a good locker room guy, you know, all jokes aside. He is a good locker room guy. But I don't think this Saints team is as good as the Falcons nor the Bucs in their division. And I also think that Green Bay, I said it to Zappy off air. I said, I think Green Bay is the best team with a loss. And Zappy came back and said, what about the Rams? Which I also think was a great rebuttal. The Rams and the Packers in defeats last week both look good.
Yeah.
You know, so personally, I think it's the kind of thing where that happens. I believe
if 2 of the 3 play for Green Bay, I'm going to go 28-17. The Saints don't look that good. They don't look that good.
They
don't look that good.
Fellas, like I love what Jordan Love is doing, man. You know, like he spent 4 years on the bench. You know, watch number 12 play. He learned. He knows the system, and man, he looks comfortable. He looks comfortable. Granted, they lost this past week. I don't care. They're going to win the division this year. I like the way their defense is set up, and his confidence, the way that he trusts these receivers already, blows my mind. I like what Green Bay is doing. I like what Jordan Love is doing. Go Pack.
He's doing the same thing that Rodgers did with under Favre.
Yeah, man.
Sit on the bench, learn the game.
Yeah,
you gotta do.
They did the right thing with him.
I got the Pack winning this, no problem. Pack winning this, no problem.
I'm going the other way on this, gentlemen.
Oh my!
And I'm going to tell you why. The Saints possess the number 4 defense in the NFL, and if there's one thing Jordan Love has not yet have to do is face a damn good defense.
They're not a bad defense, but to be fair, they shut down.
Not a bad defense.
They shut down Bryce Young and Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but they've also been a damn good defense for the last couple of years. So I have that to fall back on.
You do.
So that's what I'm saying. This team has it.
I I do not remember the last time this team won a game in Lambeau. I'm not even trying to be sarcastic. I just don't even remember in my lifetime the last time this team won in Lambeau.
Well, I could tell you, Jordan Love was not the starting quarterback.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah, that's true.
So, no,
I'll tell you what,
look,
man.
I'm not sold on the Packers as much as you guys yet. I still think the Packers are the third best team. Check that. They're the second best team in the division now because we know what Chicago and Minnesota are. So my opinion of the division has changed. So, yes, I don't think they're the best team in the division. I think that belongs to Detroit. Even though they blew a lead last week, they still have an explosive offense.
I'm not writing off Green Bay as a legitimate contender for that division just yet for one simple reason. Detroit's defense has a propensity to give up some big plays in the worst critical moments. I do think Green Bay has a better defense. I agree with you that Detroit is more along with their offense, but at the same time, to be fair, Jordan Love is without Christian Watson, his best offensive tackle. And he was tossing he looked great in Atlanta, even in defeat.
And Aaron Jones.
I got a question for you three.
Aaron Jones.
What is more likely to happen? The Lions make the playoffs or the Bears lose 11 games?
Bears lose 11 games. You said likely to happen, right?
Likely to happen.
He was
Bears
so
lose
quick
11
on that one.
I'm going to go Lions make the playoffs because all they're going to need is possibly 9 wins.
Okay.
Because someone's got to win that division. And right now, it's very well that a 9-win team might win the North. And that was a thought going into the season.
My 7-10 last place prediction on Minnesota is starting to gain some valor now.
Yeah, but who would have thought that there would be 2 teams in the NFC South that are both 2-0?
3 teams, buddy.
3 teams.
3 teams.
Oh, crap. You're right.
Even you are. Yeah, Jimmy's cursing you out right now. Even you are recognizing the Saints.
No, 3 teams. Yeah, you're right.
Me, look, I'm not high on either team, but when I break it down, who do I like? Whose offensive playmakers do I like more? The Saints. Whose defense do I like more? The Saints. Which quarterback do I like more? The Saints. That's what it boils down to. While I think Jordan Love has a high ceiling, right now, today, Derek Carr is the better quarterback.
I can agree with that.
No, I can agree with that too, but make no mistake, Jordan Love is going to continue to improve.
That's what I'm saying today. Next year, it's going to be different.
Gotcha, pal.
That's why I said today.
Yeah. The Packers by 5. I'm going Packers 29, Saints 24.
28-17 Pack.
30-23 Pack.
23-20 Packers.
Bro,
I just had to put a fight in there for the Saints.
You really think I'm going to pick against my old man's team?
No, I had to put a fight in there for the Saints, but I think the Packers will pull it off.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game, and you did make good points, by the way. Idris, I apologize. I just want to make sure. Did you give us a winner?
Yeah, Pack.
Okay, so we all on board. Okay.
The Packers.
Yeah, good old Zappy always gets to be the devil's advocate with that.
Absolutely. I'm the
You
unbiased.
should hear this guy talk about a home run derby. All right, New England Patriots heading to MetLife Stadium to take on Gangrene. Jets struggled mightily on offense against Zappy's Cowboys last week in defeat. The bright side is their defense was able to hold the Cowboys to 5 field goals. The Patriots came up short yet again, but I will give them some credit. They are competing. They lost 24-17 to Miami. Patriots are 0-2 for the first time since 2001, both home losses. They did win Super Bowl 36 when last time they started. They won the Super Bowl last time they started 0-2.
They lost 38-0 too the first game.
Lewis almost killed Drew Bledsoe. Tom Brady comes in. The rest is basically history. His first career start was against Peyton Manning, and that started one of the greatest, if not the greatest, quarterback rivalry in the history of the league. But here we are in the year 2023. These are 2 teams that have issues. I'm going to let Brett speak on them first, and then I'm going to round it back to Brett at the end. This is Brett's team. Your thoughts, Brett, and then feed it back over.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern for both teams is quarterback play. That's from Zach Wilson, Mac and Cheese. I mean, granted, Mac Jones had over a 300-yard game week 1, and we still lost. No excuse, but he did play well. But Zach Wilson was kind of tossed in the fire after A-Rod going down.
For sure.
There's one thing the Jets have that we don't, and that's a number 1 receiver. Okay. Garrett Wilson is an absolute beast. If we can contain him, like I said, when the show started, we put a man underneath him and a man above him. We got a good shot. We just have to stop Breece Hall, contain that run game and make Zach Wilson, make him make some bad decisions. I think we can do it.
Right.
We have a great secondary, solid defense. It might be one of those low scoring affairs like it was last year. It came down to a special teams play in the last 2 minutes of the game. I'm sorry, the last 15 seconds of the game. It might come down to that again. I don't know. I think it's definitely gonna be a low scoring. 20, 17, 16, 13. I'm still taking the Pats. We got to win. We got to win this game. In order to stay in this AFC East, we got to win it.
Defense is elite, but the Jet offense is literally about to just rupture. No pun intended. They are bad on offense.
Quarterback.
And listen, I respect Robert Saleh. I do. This is a homecoming for Bill Belichick. Let's be real. Every year when he comes into that stadium, even though it's not the same stadium, it's still the same lot, more or less. Yeah. Every time Bill Belichick walks in there, the third eye opens, whether it's playing against the New York Football Giants or the New York Jets. Make no mistake, I don't give a shit if he's 50, 70, 106 years old. If that man has a brain to coach football, he's in a different kind of atmosphere when he walks into that place. Sauce Gardner is phenomenal. Robert Saleh is a good coach. I like the two-headed monster the Jets have at running back. But all of this was brought in for the one guy that's not there, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Without Aaron Rodgers, they're going to struggle all year. Mac Jones, while imperfect in his own right, will make more throws than Zach Wilson will, and he has less probability of fucking up the way Zach Wilson will. I got the New England Patriots winning this thing 17-9. They're going to hold the Jets 3 field goals.
I agree. I think both teams will run the ball. I think Mac Jones looked pretty good this year.
Not for nothing, dude. He's got some moxie.
He's looked different.
He's an imperfect guy, but he's got some balls.
Other than first half against Philly, he's played pretty decent. The Jets quarterback situation is
man.
They need a quarterback, man.
Devastated that team. And I said it to some family before the season even started. I said, this team is either going to win the AFC or their whole season's going to get ruptured if Rodgers gets hurt. And the latter, unfortunately, happened.
I think when they let go of the quarterback and sent him to Miami,
you're talking about Mike White? Yeah, Mike White was all right. I wasn't a fan of just letting him walk out the door.
I would have kept him as the backup. And I'd have had your boy Wilson had to work his way up to the second.
It's amazing how the narrative changes in 1 week because the same issues on offense that they carried into Dallas, where Dallas really exploited, Buffalo didn't take the same advantage of. But the reality is, similar to my New York Giants for 6 quarters, you could say this about the New York Jets for about 8 quarters. Both offenses look like dog do between 8 and 6, 14 quarters. Giants put up 31. The Jets aren't putting up 31 this year unless they get
I'm wondering why aren't they running the ball? You got to run the ball.
You can't run. You can't pretend that Aaron Rodgers is at the helm. That's not the case.
Run the ball. You got 2 capable running backs. Run the ball.
I completely agree.
But I'm going New England. I'm going New England 26-14. I think Mac Jones, he's not going to carve up the defense, but I think they'll run the ball too. Short passes, keep it away from Sauce.
They got to. You can't throw towards that guy. He's going to make you pay.
Yeah.
I like the Pats this week, dude.
Yeah,
Pats are going to score 2 touchdowns in this game, and one of them is going to be off a turnover that they set up nicely.
Yeah. I'm saying 26-14 Pats.
That's got good defense, dude.
Shocked. All right, Zappy, what do you got, dude?
Hey, hold up, Bresky. I've been going with the Pats for the first 2 games.
I know, man.
Honestly,
I'm
listening
fucking
by this.
I'm just mind blown right now.
Do you notice how they're a little more likable? That the perfect chin is out of town.
Right.
Mind blown. Mind blown.
Happy you're up, brother.
Patriots have won 17 of the last 18 games.
Yeah, this is like
I'll start there.
Yeah.
Jets end that streak. Jets win 17-13. Mac Jones makes the crucial turnovers because of that defense.
It's a weird thing.
You mean Zach Wilson, right?
No, I said Mac Jones. We're going to see a Zach Wilson that we saw against Buffalo.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, man, when you got like a little brother who got out of their lane and had the audacity to call it Jet Life Stadium. Aaron Rodgers, I don't wish injury on you. I hope you get better, and I hope you are able to return not only this year, but, continue your career. Continue your Hall of Fame career. But I got news for you, man. When Randall Cobb took liberties on our rookie, Bobby McCain, and when Aaron Rodgers was talking that shit to Jihad Ward, karma comes in weird ways. And no, I do not wish injury on anyone. But it is ironic. It is truly ironic how that went down and how quickly it did. I got no bad for Aaron Rodgers, a guy I've always respected. But in that moment, especially being a Giant fan, my true disappointment is that we don't get a chance to settle the score with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And this is the only chance we were going to have to do it, because the Jets and the Giants will not play again unless if they both make the Super Bowl next year. But that's,
what? Jets remind me of another New York team that swore they ran New York.
The Brooklyn
Rhymes
Nets.
with them too.
Indeed.
Brad, I got one question for you.
What's up?
Was it a first down?
Yes.
I don't agree. I don't agree with.
That last
you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with it.
That last
was the first down.
You don't have to agree with it.
That last play was
2-2. 2-2.
You know why I say the first down? They call it the first down on the field. But
Idris agrees with you.
They couldn't prove it wasn't a first down, but they call it a first down on the field. So you got to go with the first down.
I know.
I'm going to make this clear right now with this
he
game.
He may not have made it, but they ruled it the first down on the field.
I know.
I'm going to make this clear about this game.
I appreciate the love, Idris. I do. I appreciate the love, baby.
The only reason I'm talking about this next game is for one simple fact. It's that once upon a time, this was the elite matchup in so many AFC championships. John Madden era, Chuck Noll era. I don't view this as the same caliber of matchup. I think Pittsburgh's going to come in there and basically whack these guys. The Las Vegas Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is going to be a sitting duck this week. I think it's going to get ugly early. I got Pittsburgh winning this thing. I'm going to go 30-13. I think they're going to really push this shit in this week. It's not going to be fun.
I'll be brief.
Yeah, I mean, concussion protocol, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Yeah, no, I'll take Pittsburgh on the road here. 26-13.
Okay.
I think J.J. Watt has another phenomenal performance against that offensive line.
T.J. Watt.
I think this past Monday night, I think it was his first defensive touchdown he's ever scored in his career, which is insane.
Yeah, you meant T.J., but we know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, T.J. I'm sorry. My bad.
They played it.
But yeah,
I did that already, dude. I've done that on the show already.
Yeah. Too many Watts in the league. No, but I got to take Pittsburgh in this one for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm at 28-13. I mean 28-13, not 2013. 2013.
Zap, anything worth adding before we hit on this Monday Night Football doubleheader?
I mean, I think we can see where the Raiders season is going. Look what happened with Chandler Jones. He was put on the non-injured PUP list because of all the crap he's doing, where they have to send workers to go check on him. Yeah. This Raiders organization is very dysfunctional. Great week 1 win against a very bad Brown. Steelers are going to come into town, and they're going to take this one. I'm going to go 27-23.
Devontae Adams is going to be the first big name that's going to try to get out of town.
Yeah.
Max Crosby, to his credit, is a Raider through and through. My Uncle Randy, who's a diehard Raider, would tell you that. Because he would go into it and be like, oh, he reminds me of guys like Alzado and Tatum and that caliber of Raider psycho. But the point is, the Raiders, to Zappy's point, very dysfunctional. Monday Night Football, I think we have a candidate for potentially the best game of the week. That is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Tampa. The surprising Bucks 2-0. And another surprising team, the Los Angeles Rams, who came off basically being the worst defending champion in the history of the league, to now it looks like they got a little bit of their moxie back. Now, granted, Cooper Kupp hasn't been healthy. Matthew Stafford looking healthy, looking good. And they're getting contributions on defense from, it's like Aaron Donald and the No Names.
Yeah. That's a good band name.
Yeah, no shit. I like what the Rams have done to make this short and sweet. You get rid of the locker room cancer in the form of Cam Akers. You got guys that want to play and play for Coach Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. On the flip, Joe Burrow injured. The true differentiation of these two teams is now the Rams are the Cinderella guys, not the Bengals. The Rams are going to kick their ass in a bad way. I think the Bengals season is damn near over already. And Zappy called it early. I'll admit I didn't agree with Zappy completely. I think Zappy nailed it. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow had no business on the field. I believe that after watching one game. I truly believe it after watching two. Cincinnati Bengals are in trouble, and Jamar Chase called it out too. Credit to him. But Rams, I'm going to go Rams 26, Bengals 13. I think the Bengals are in all kinds of trouble.
What about the first game?
First game, I'm going to let you boys talk about whatever you want, and I'll hit you with my final on that one on the way out.
I'm going not Buffalo. I'm saying Tampa Bay upsets Philly. I'm not sold on Philly. They just don't look like Philly. And it's a good thing they're not playing Dallas, because Dallas will run them off the planet. I'm serious. If Dallas play Philly right now, Dallas will run them off the planet. I'm going to go.
I tend to agree, actually.
I'm going to go Tampa Bay 21, Philly 18. The second game, the Rams, I'm going to go 35-17 Rams.
Oh, my. This ain't good. Yeah. This ain't good for the Bengals. Gretzky, Zappy, your contribution.
Bengals over, man.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think so. I really do. I was 1 year off. I called for it last year. This year it's happening. Yeah. You boys have at it. Your thoughts on this doubleheader?
Yeah, the Bucks Philly matchup. I think it's going to be actually pretty close for the most part. Philly still has one of the best offensive line in the leagues, guys. Look, DeAndre Swift put up 175 rushing yards last week. 175.
He did.
Okay, and they're granted Bucks have a good run defense, solid pass defense, but this might be one of those games where AJ Brown and Devontae Smith finally break out. But then you throw in, the confidence that Baker has with Godwin and Mike Evans. This might be a high scoring game. I'm thinking 37-33, 37-34. Really, really tight battle, believe it or not. It's going to come down to the last 2.5 minutes of the game. But at the end of the day, I think Philly has a better offensive line, and they still have not outlawed that freaking running backs lining up behind the quarterback, inside the 1 yard line, touchdown. Once they get rid of that rule, I don't know what Philly's going to do. But, if they keep that going, Philly's going to score a lot of points. They're going to score a lot of points, but it's going to be a high scoring game for sure. I'm going to take 37-33 Philly. I like what the Rams are doing, man. Bunch of no-name guys. You don't know who's going to do what. You don't know who the ball's going to go to, and everybody's playing hard. They are playing exceptionally hard. for McVay.
They're buying in for sure.
Oh, they are buying in for sure. And Richie, you hit Cam Akers is leaving. And Stafford, he looks healthy. And he's trusting his receivers already. Oh man, this is a tough one though. I got to go with the Rams, honestly. I don't like the way Cincy's looking. You guys already hit on it. Joe Burrow should not have been playing. They just paid the guy multi-million-dollar deal. And they didn't do anything to the offensive line. So I don't like the way Cincinnati's rolling right now. I'm not feeling the vibe from them. Joe Cool is he's not looking good, man.
Joe Fool for playing. Zap, you are up, and I'm gonna give you my final prediction on that Tampa Philly game after you're done here.
Look, it's a tale of two stories. We have the number 2 rush offense versus the number 2 rush defense.
Great point.
We have one of the worst passing offenses versus one of the better passing offenses going against one of the worst pass defenses in the Eagles.
Yeah.
So, it's when you put those things together,
something has to give.
Something's got to give. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Remember, this was a Super Bowl team a couple years ago. Their team is still pretty much intact. The team came down to one thing: is how would Baker Mayfield fit in with this offense? I mean, before the season started, we were talking about Kyle Trask possibly being the quarterback.
Yeah, for real.
And here we are. Baker has proven his point. This is his test.
I can't wait for Elliot to watch this show.
This is Baker's test, and I think he's going to pass this test. For one, that Eagles defense is getting depleted week by week, play by play. The loss of Avonte Maddox is going to hurt them a lot. I look for Tampa Bay to utilize Mike Evans and open up the running game. I'm looking for a low-scoring 23-17 game, Buccaneers with the W. And as far as the other game goes, I cannot starting off the season only. He's hurt. I think this Bengals offense needs to figure something out quick. I'm going to stay on their train for a little longer. I thought they would start off the year 0-2. I always thought that, and I thought they would win this game. I did not think this Rams team was going to be this good, but I'm still sticking with the Bengals. 23-20, repeat Super Bowl score.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Interesting. All right. Okay. Bucks, Eagles, I do believe this truly will be the game of the week. There's a couple of other candidates this will live up to it. I think the Bucks are for real. I don't think they're just some beneficiaries of playing in a weak division because, quite frankly, if you look at that division, the Panthers, even though it's not going to show in the win column this year, they are on the rise. The Atlanta Falcons are definitely trending upwards. The New Orleans Saints, to Zappy's point earlier in the show, they still have a really good defense, and Derek Carr at the quarterback position is probably an improvement over what they've had in previous seasons. So now you enter the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They still have a lot of mainstays from that Super Bowl championship. Baker Mayfield was the real X factor. Could this dude play quarterback at the level that he achieved for a short while in Cleveland? Through 2 weeks, the answer is yes. But what's more encouraging to me about this team, you got a motivated running back in Rachaad White who's trying to make a name for himself. They are playing defense at a very high level, particularly inside the 20s. And this is the other thing. Philly's probably a better team. And if they play this game 10 times, Philly probably beats them 7. Week 3, it's going to be hot. Tampa's not even going to wear their dark jerseys. They're going to wear their whites probably and have Philly wear the darker jerseys to draw more heat to them. I just see Philly coming out a little flat in crunch time. And let's not forget, fellas, Philly has allowed 2 teams to come back almost all the way in 2 consecutive weeks. And both those teams are very imperfect. The Patriots on offense, the Vikings on defense. This Tampa Bay Bucks team has a little more going on both sides of the football.
Yep.
I like the Buccaneers for a late field goal to win it 26-20. 23. Shit, we forgot the donut bowl. Quick, we got 30 seconds. Somebody give me a reason.
I'll give you a reason. Two teams that overachieved last year, and Brandon Staley needs to be fired. Give me the Vikings in an upset. And as far as the other one, give me the Lions to defeat the Falcons.
Vikings, Lions.
Vikings, Lions. We out.